Does he work extra on the putting and the chipping, or is he like me, skips the chipping and putting and only hit the long drives?
I think he
It's
works
boring.
with it, but I mean, I remember talking to his college coach, Alan Bratton, and he was quite honest, just saying that, you know, Viktor just needs to practice more his short game. He hasn't done that enough. And
hello everybody and welcome back to the Top Golf podcast, and what a show we have for you today. We're very luckily being joined by, you'll recognise the faces, me being English, I'm not so familiar with Torjus Tveiten, who is from TV Norge, from the Hvite Gutter.
Yes, from Hvite Gutter, yes. Yes.
I was looking down at my notes. And Espen Blaker from Eurosport, who's a commentator in football and golf. Espen? But recently you've spent the last year, maybe longer, following Viktor.
about a year, yes.
About a year. So someone said to me just before we came on the podcast that you have a very good reputation for being a good commentator in football. Is that true about golf?
I mean, by commentator, you mean reporter?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, before I came to Eurosport, I worked at TV2 in Bergen for 3 years with the Premier League. And then I was contacted by Eurosport, came over to work at the Olympics in 2018. And after that, I've been staying because of the Eliteserien, the Norwegian football. I'm not sure who tipped you off, but I mean, I would consider myself decent. But golf, I mean, it's quite different. But I've really enjoyed it since day one.
Cool. I mean, to have you two guys here, you know, I was just thinking about it before, that the two coolest jobs in comedy and in golf right now, because obviously Viktor's the hottest thing, hottest property golfer in Norway, and almost in the world. And Torjus, excuse me for being not understanding about comedy in Norway. Actually, I coach all the time. I'd never get a chance to watch TV. So I heard a lot about you, and all the people that I spoke to today, they say you were coming in were like, wow, this guy is super famous. And can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Well, yeah, I write and I act in a TV show called Hvite Gutter at TV Norge and Dplay. Cool. And I've been doing this maybe 4 years now. We just wrapped up shooting season 5, and I just started playing golf in June.
Wow.
So,
and your handicap is quite good.
I'm not that satisfied with my handicap, but it's now around 22.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I
22 since June.
I played.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I went from 54, of course. In 3 weeks, I got down to 19.
Wow.
And then I just stayed there.
What did you do to get to there?
Nothing.
I mean, give him a couple of years and he'll be.
Yeah, but I played the bandy, you know.
You paid someone.
I played bandy on ice, so I have to swing. Yeah.
Oh, you'll be popular with the ground force guys that do all that on the ice, showing people how they can balance the weight out and all that stuff in the golf swing. That would be pretty cool.
I play pretty much second ball golf.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to golf?
Well, I have some friends who plays. They've been eager to get me out on the golf course for some years. Actually, in around June, I was thinking of buying a PlayStation during Corona.
Wow.
I don't have a PlayStation, and my girlfriend, she didn't want me to play PlayStation.
Been there.
Yeah. So I said, well, maybe golf, and she said I would much rather have you play golf than play PlayStation. But she didn't know how long a golf round takes. So now I've played maybe 28 rounds this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. That's why you got down to 19.
Yeah, I played 5 days straight now.
Okay, yeah. And you saying you play today?
Yeah, I played Kongsvinger today.
How do you play?
Pretty good. My second best round of the year, yeah.
Cool. How often do you come to Topgolf and practice?
Oh, 2 times a week.
2 times a week. And do you use all the facilities, the range? Do you use Toptracer?
Yeah.
Do you think it helps you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of swings. I have this typical huge slice, big slice, and some fades, and then I changed my grip.
Yeah.
And it went straight.
Cool.
For 2 weeks. Then I went over to the hook, and I was in the hook for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I was back straight. So now every other week I'm straight and hook.
Do you blame the coach?
Hmm?
Do you blame the coach?
I've only had one pro lesson with Marilyn.
Oh.
Well, I'm coming to you on Friday.
Yeah, perfect.
Everything's going to be solved.
Yeah, I really
Only
hope
straight
so.
balls in that room.
I can drive very far.
You can?
Yeah.
Cool. What driver do you use?
Ping.
The new
Hovland.
one. Hovland.
Victor's.
Yeah.
Victor's. You can't get Ping equipment anywhere because of Victor, right?
Yeah.
Espen, do you play?
I played quite a lot when I was younger, when I lived in Stavanger from maybe age 16 to 19, and then I moved to Bergen. No one else played, so I pretty much stopped right away. I mean, I went to the range, played a couple of rounds by myself in the beginning, but the motivation wasn't there when.
You need more people with you, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not just that. I mean, I worked at hours that didn't really fit in with the golf, and I also had to have a car to come around to all the courses, and that just didn't add up because I couldn't afford it because of the studies and everything. So, but when coming back to Oslo, I played some rounds. The first year I was here in 2018, and then last year I took it a bit up again. I tried to take it up this year as well, but I haven't played nearly as much as I would like. So next year is the aim to get back on track.
Do you come to Topgolf and practice, or now that
I've been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
I have a friend who is here quite a lot. So
have you? Have you been on the range and used the Toptracer system? And what do you think about that?
I think it's it gives you a completely different experience than just being at the regular driving range. I mean, seeing the ball flight, seeing the speed, where you hit the ball, helps you so much.
Cool. So, coolest job in golf right now? Norwegian style is yours?
It used to be, at least when I was able to travel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how's it been since you've not been able to travel? Has it been tough for you? Or?
It's been, I mean, you are quite reliant on, texting with the guys, improvising. I mean, in the beginning we had this podcast with both Viktor and Christopher Ventura.
Yeah.
Being on site and covering the sport is, it's much easier to get access to the players to, just ask him a couple of words when you want to. And
how would you do that? Would you do that via text message, or you'd wait to speak to
when
him,
I'm on site?
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, with the practice rounds, you can pretty much just ask him between the holes, and what's your game feel like? How are you feeling? What's the aim of the day? So on. And but during tournaments, it's basically you just shut up between hole 1 and 18, and then you summarize at the end.
So, Torjus, what do you think about Viktor? Is he your favorite player?
Yeah, at the moment, yes. But I really like Ventura as well. I haven't seen him that much, but I like his swing. It's that's how I want to look.
Yeah.
We get into that on Friday. I want to look like Ventura.
So what does he swing it like? What do you think he swings like?
It's
Espen, what does
very
he swing
clean.
it like?
I think it's very
It looks
clean.
very effortless.
Effortless and clean.
And what would you say Victor's look like?
He moves his head up and down.
Victor's swing, I would say, it's not exactly a textbook swing. I mean, he's doing his own thing, and it's obviously working. But the main difference I see, at least with the long game, is that Ventura is. For the spectators, I think his swing looks cleaner. It looks more effortless. But obviously, Victor's swing isn't as smooth, maybe, but it works.
It's still pretty smooth.
It is. I
like his swing too. Yeah.
So Ventura is your favorite swing out the two, or
of the two? Yeah. But of course, I like the driving from Viktor. But my favorite player, I think I would also really enjoy having the swing of Morikawa.
Yeah.
Can we?
He knows where it's going, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He knows where it's going.
You first want Ventura, then Morikawa.
Yeah.
You
How much money have you got?
Change between them.
I have to talk to Thomas.
Looking forward to Friday. That's going to be my favorite day.
I really like watching the guys with the slow backswing.
Yeah,
Matsuyama,
really rhythmical and
the Asian guys.
Yeah, the Asian guys. I want to be like them.
Yeah, I was watching him on the weekend. It looked like he speeded up a bit. He looked
Matsuyama. They commented on that as well.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't have much of a pause. It went back a bit quicker.
It seems so controlled, everything.
Yeah.
Sung Jae Im is the worst though.
Yeah.
With the backswing. I mean, that is like robotic.
Who?
Sung Jae Im.
Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he?
He won when I was over covering the Honda Classic.
Yeah.
I remember following him the last.
In the water. The guy shouted, didn't he?
Indeed. I remember following him like the last 5 holes, and I was just amazed by, it looked so robotical, but it was dead straight every time.
Yeah.
I think he's drifted a bit
he's
since
still
that.
got some features, but he's traveling week to week.
He's
no
a machine.
break. And you know what that life's like now.
Yep.
What's it like? Come on, what's it like to be a tour player, do you think?
I think
you're living that life.
I think most people would see it as, you play a tournament from Thursday to Friday. No, to Sunday you just walk around, It doesn't really seem as exhausting to people, but I can understand why the guys play maybe 3 to 4 weeks at most every time, because you live in this bubble, you travel Monday, you play practice rounds Tuesday, Wednesday, tournament Thursday to Sunday, and then you're on the road again Monday. So
And what about the sleep? I have trouble sleeping before a golf round now. I was playing Kongsvinger today at 10:30.
It's a meditation.
And when I went to bed last night, I was trying to visualize all my swings. Morikawa. And then I was just hang up and just got stuck in this. How am I supposed to do that? I'll get back. So I just try to visualize the whole course, and I didn't get any sleep. That's how it is every time I was looking forward to play the next day.
Yeah,
must be.
I mean, for Viktor's talking about Viktor, I think he's probably the guy who has the least trouble about sleep, because it's really, it's really fascinating following him, because he. I send him a text and then he responds, and that's maybe like half an hour before he tees off, and he's still in his bed, I'm just watching some Vikings, I'll be out in 10-15 minutes. And he
really
wow. And then he comes out on the range, he hits a few balls, he goes by the putting range the putting green if he feels like it, and then he just tees off. It's quite different from most of the guys who maybe come.
So he doesn't putt every time?
Yeah, I mean he does, but I'm not sure how to.
Okay, maybe you should do that.
He was saying actually in the Corona time, in one of his interviews, because he was like 5 or 6 weeks in a row, he actually said on one of the interviews, I think, that he actually didn't come out an hour before. He was still in the bed. He was just going straight to bed, staying in bed, and then getting out 1 hour before the tee and teeing off, because he'd played like 5 or 6 weeks in a row. But maybe you should try that tomorrow if you're playing. Don't have a warm-up, walk to the first tee.
Yeah,
no expectations.
Take a sleeping pill tonight. And
I hurt my back when I didn't do that last week at Hakadal.
Oh my God, what advice?
Went straight to tee.
Okay.
Struggled through 18 holes.
What about Viktor's technique then, Espen? He is a guy, has he said he's learnt his technique himself? As he's been growing up, he's had some input for some national coaches and stuff like that.
I was actually at Drøbak Golf Club a couple of weeks ago talking to Jim McGowan, who was his first coach maybe at Drøbak, and he, I think he started playing with his dad. I'm not sure how much he affected him, but I think Jim probably had a good say in that. And he said Viktor's swing was. He's pretty much created his own thing. I think the thing about Viktor is that, when Viktor is getting taught by someone or getting guided by someone, he just picks up parts of the things he learns, and he just implements what he feels is necessary to implement to his game. He's not like a guy who just stands there and says, okay, I'll just do that next time and that probably works. He just says, okay, I see you're teaching me this thing, you're teaching me that, and I'll just take out parts of that and just use it to, optimize my own game. So I think he's really good at, just dissecting every lesson that he has with people who affect his game, and just do his own thing, basically.
I think that's a message for all these young golfers coming up there, because obviously they get access to many coaches and lots of information, especially as they go to these schools in Norway, because that opens up access to more coaches and information is readily available, isn't it, to them? And,
I mean,
you know, Viktor's obviously really worked out what to take on and what to let go of very quickly.
And that is a big contrast to Ventura, actually, because when Ventura came out on the tour, he basically felt like he had to change a lot of things just with his swing and everything. And he has admitted now that he's coming up again. He's starting to look like his old self. He has admitted that he just felt like he had to change things just because he was playing with the big boys, and he didn't really trust the things he had from before. He felt like he needed to change in order to take the next step. But I think Viktor, he just had so much confidence in himself, in his own game, that he basically just, what I have is good enough, and I'll just stick to it and see what happens.
Do you feel like you're part of their team?
I mean, I feel like I've been more and more a part of it, because Viktor is a guy who you need some time to get under his skin. To the Americans, he seems like this, happy Viking, just smiling all the time, joking. But he isn't the guy who really enjoys talking to the media. He actually admitted that one of the first times I met him, he was like, I really don't. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do this. But it's a part of the package, so you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But I know, and I always get these questions from Norwegian, other TV stations and other media. Do you have Viktor's number? And I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Can I have it?
After. We'll see.
Okay,
We'll see.
Yes.
But they're like, we're trying to reach him. He doesn't answer. And I'm like, well, that's Viktor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just does his own thing, and it takes time to get to know him. But I think once you have, for myself, I think it took like 4 to 5 tournaments before I really felt comfortable just going to ask him about things. And
so how did you do that? How did you get on part of that team? Is there anything you did tactically to sort of get to know him better?
I think in the beginning, I talked a lot to his caddy, Shay Knight, because he's really, outgoing. He is easy to talk to. He is really, open. He enjoys talking to you. He really, you feel really just comfortable being around him. And I think, I'm not sure if that was the case, but I think when Viktor sees, you get a good relationship with him, I think he maybe feels like, okay, this guy is okay. I can trust him. I can talk to him. It feels natural. So maybe that way, but I think Viktor is also a guy who, if you have a couple of jokes with him, if you start, being on the same wavelength in terms of that you can small talk with him just outside the interviews as well. I think that helps a lot.
And being Norwegian.
And but the thing is, Viktor is actually much more comfortable in English.
What?
Yeah, he is. So that kind of struck me in the beginning, because I felt like.
So you speak English with him?
No.
No, okay.
But to the viewers, I think the end product would be better in English, because I actually had a video conference with him, the first tournament after Corona, and I asked him a couple of questions then. I just felt like there was another energy there to his answers, and I was like, wow, maybe I should continue talking in English, but it is what it is. And Ventura is that as well.
Okay.
It's actually much more comfortable.
Torjus, what team are you in? Well, you're in my team now on Friday, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you feel part of Viktor's team?
Not yet.
You could get in there.
I'm getting his number after his podcast, and I'll check in on him. Maybe he has some available pro lessons for me. Maybe I'm a change coach.
What do you think of Viktor at the US Open last week?
Impressive. I'm a bit impatient. I want him to win every time. So
does every Norwegian.
Yeah, I'm impatient with the putting. But I love it when I love to see more of him in the vad heter det, broadcast.
Yeah.
Normally
we're not spoiled.
You only see the putting.
Yeah.
I want to see the drives. Yeah.
You're passionate. I like
Yeah.
it. Espen, were you there when Viktor won?
No,
No.
unfortunately. That was actually in between, I think. I don't remember exactly, but I was at, the Phoenix tournament and then at the Pebble Beach. Yeah, and after Pebble Beach, I think that's when I went home, and then it was Puerto Rico, and then I came back again after he won
Yeah.
at the
We can see a
Classic.
pattern.
That's what a lot of people
You
have been
win there,
saying.
you're not
that,
there.
just stay away from him. You see
Yeah.
how it goes. So yeah, maybe.
I was watching the coverage, and Viktor was on. He was shown on the driving range one day with some training aids on his wrists. Have you seen that video? And he looks quite technical. He's
Yeah.
working his swing out.
He's
quite,
really a nerd when it comes to details and the technical stuff.
yeah. And how do you think it is for a tour player? You're around him to. They look like they have this ability to take technical information Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then just go and play freely. Well, that's what we think. Freely Thursday. How do they do that, do you think? Is that what you see on the tour, on the ranges every week? Guys, because when you think about it, it's not logical, is it? They're turning up at a tournament on Monday, they stand on the driving range till Wednesday night, and then they go and play Thursday. What do you see when you look at that? Are they ready, or are they trying to find something?
I think most of the guys are trying to find something because, it's quite rare to see people, feeling like, I feel like my game is on in every single way. I think DJ, Dustin Johnson, after Tour Championship, he said that. And you don't get that very often with players. There's always something they are working with, and that, they're rarely, feel perfectly ready for a tournament, even if they played the course, 100 times before. And that is what's so fascinating about golf as well. There's almost never a time where you feel like your game is on point in every single way. But that's, yeah.
It's a skill, isn't it? To go and
It
be
is.
able to play.
It is.
Like win with a Z game. Torjus.
Yeah. When I watch these guys, the best players in the world, slice. So many people they get they're happy. Okay, the best players in the world also have a slice, but I think it's quite scary that they can slice too. What about me? When am I supposed to be perfect? Never. What?
It's hard, isn't it? It's a hard game.
Oh.
But I think it's tour players get access to the best equipment manufacturers in the world. They get reps on the tour that are building them equipment to help them counteract these shots, but they get, better equipment than maybe we do, but still. The task is to hit the middle of the club face and put the face down the middle. And what the best players in the world are hitting 70% of the fairways, 70% of the greens, that's the level. Many of my lessons coming in want to hit 9 out of 10, so that's like managing expectation in golfers is like really difficult.
I want to hit the 10 out of 10.
Or they think they should hold 10 putts out of 10 from past 8 feet. It's like it's a real challenge to manage expectation of all golfers. But is it the same for you as it is for Viktor, do you think? Are you trying to do the same thing he's trying to do?
I hope so.
What's the difference?
His accuracy, his
Yeah, but you stand on the tee, you're trying to hit the fairway, you're trying to do the same thing as him. There's no difference in what you're trying to achieve, except you're new from May, you're trying to improve your skill level.
But do you go for the pin every time on every...
Yeah.
Okay.
And I go with the driver.
So you're like Viktor.
I go with the driver when it's possible. Almost...
you go for the green every time?
I'll go for the green every time with the hybrid on the second shot every time. That's why I'm not a single handicapper.
What do you think the most challenging part of the game is for you then?
The tee.
The tee.
The tee shots.
With driver or just starting the hole?
Just starting hole. Yeah.
And what's...
because if you don't hit a good tee shot, for me the hole is over. I hate the rest of the hole.
Okay, so you're gone.
I hate to do a drop or something. I hate. I think
the knee drop. The knee drop.
For me, it's par or nothing.
Looking forward to Friday.
I hate bogeys.
That's how you got
that's
to 19 quick.
Yeah.
But you've been trying to do anything. Do you think it's any mental strategy in that that could help you? Or have you been looking at anything? Or
sometimes I just don't think about anything. I just swing.
swinging it.
Like I did when I played bandy.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
And something that works sometimes. Don't think about anything. That works, and maybe only think about one thing, the basics. Yeah.
Because looking at the game, like, you know, you're very new. Your goal is obviously to build up a level of skill, which you've done since you've started, because you're down to 19. Some level of skill.
Yeah.
Hopefully a straighter shot than you did when you came.
Yeah.
But I think a tour player, if he snap-hooked his first tee shot, hopefully he'd have the skill to be able to cope.
Yeah.
And be able to manage his round from there. Whereas when we do that, we're history. We're finished. Like you said, the hole's over, we're gone. And then that shot will carry on into second hole, third hole. So I think golfers should be training their competence level, their skill, to be able to cope with that. And that's the journey.
Game. Yeah.
No, being able to cope with if they hit a hook. You know, when I was like 16, if I hit a hook, I was a bit like you. It was history. The tournament was over. Yeah. Because I couldn't stop hooking. I didn't have the skill to hit a slice or to change the club face position or make the small alteration that maybe Viktor can make when he's just heeled it a bit, or that those tour players have the ability to do under pressure. Yeah. That, you know, that's what you should be trying to develop your game to be. You know, not just luck when you get on the tee. You actually, I meant to do that. Yeah. Right? And that's kind of what the game is for me anyway.
I'd love it if the rules were like this. If you hit a bad tee shot, you hook it. You don't get one. You get hit 2 balls. You then get to slice the second shot and then the straighten out third. Because every time I hook it, I try to fix the hook, and I do a huge slice, and then the third.
There's this thing called the second ball syndrome, but now it's just been called the third ball syndrome.
Third ball syndrome. I have the third ball syndrome. Yeah.
Espen, does Viktor work with a mental coach?
I don't think he does. I think I asked him about that quite early in the season opener last season, I think, and I can't remember his exact words, but I think he said something like, "No, I don't believe in that." Kind of thing.
So what can we tell you? Right.
Me too.
But Viktor's mental strength is actually one of his biggest strengths. I just remember at Wentworth last year in London, I spoke to Padraig Harrington, the Ryder Cup captain, and also Henrik Stenson after they played. I think they played the flight before. No, Padraig actually played with Viktor, and he was just like, I just asked him, you know, besides his obvious talent, what do you think his biggest strength is? And he said, just, you know, the mental game. He's just rock solid in his head. He doesn't get easily affected by, you know, a bad shot.
Yeah, you saw that on was it 4 weeks ago when he shanked his chip?
Yeah.
And he just smiled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people on the tour would do that, you know?
It's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
I don't think Bryson would, you know, just laugh it off.
After his 10.
Yeah.
He was having a good chinwag after his 10. Bryson, when he was having a right good rant, it was the shafts or something. Or when he miss it a wedge, it's the shaft, it's too stiff. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Anything but themselves. So have you asked Viktor about his mental game?
Yep.
He just where do you think he's developed that? Or how?
Well, that is a good question. I mean, probably just playing a lot, I guess, because he's always said that, you know, he's his own biggest critic. He is really good at identifying a weakness or a problem and then doing something with it, even though it requires 10 hours of practice on the range. I've seen some Instagram photos and some Snapchat photos of him, you know, standing on the range until his fingers are bleeding, you know, and that happens quite often. So yeah, that's a start.
You're the same too. Look at me.
Two of a kind.
Yeah.
So when the tournament starts, what do you do then? Are you filming every shot, Viktor?
It depends on a couple of things. It depends, first of all, if I have a photographer with me. And secondly, if he's in the feature groups. Because if he's in the feature groups, I'm like, thank Lord. I don't get to have to film him every hole, you know, every shot. But if I'm just by myself in the tournament and he's not in the feature group, which is, you know, up until now at least quite often, I have to film every shot myself, and then I interview him after the round. I go back in the media tent, I edit some video stuff, send it over to Norway, and then I write some stories online for the
quite busy then.
Yeah, the website. So the days are pretty
Hectic.
filled up.
You must
when
get
you're
pretty
over
fit from that then, running around. What do you do? Run from the tee? You go down the fairway for the tee shots, or?
Yeah, I walk. The thing is that I was quite surprised the first time I was there, because I didn't expect to be able to like walk straight in the fairway, just almost right beside Viktor and his caddy. And that is basically what I can do if I want to. I mean, I don't think people will like if I just go straight, walk just by them. But most tournaments, I just, he hits a shot, they go, and I just walk after them, maybe like 5 to 10 meters behind. So I feel kind of like, walking down the fairway at 18 with all the crowd. I feel,
Pebble Beach?
Yeah.
So bring a club.
Yeah.
So does he ever talk to you during the round?
He has, yeah.
Some comments, or what do you think about that shot?
Yeah, maybe not as much as that, but often he talks to me, in the beginning of the rounds, just, how are you? What have you been doing?
Okay, so
more like that. But I've gotten a couple of interesting comments throughout the tournaments, especially if he's done a bad shot at a hole or something. He's just like using some words in Norwegian that don't
mean anything to.
They probably shouldn't go on this podcast, so let's just keep it at that.
Does Viktor have a lot of American fans?
A lot.
Yeah.
The first tournament I went to was the John Deere Classic last year, and the first thing I see, because we came a bit late to the tournament, so we came in the middle of the practice round on the Tuesday, and the first thing I see is when I walk down the fairway, I think on 6 or 7, is a ton of people standing by the tee on 7 or 8, and it's actually Viktor standing there. And I'm like, is he playing with the Brooks? Is he playing with DJ? What is going on? And he was playing by himself.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just like, wow, is he that popular? I've seen him on TV. I know the Americans like him and stuff, but seeing him at tournaments, it's quite bizarre, because he, outside of the big guns, JT, Brooks, Dustin Johnson, and those guys, he's probably one of the 5 most popular players out there. And that is probably, 1, his game is good, but 2, I think is just his attitude to the game.
I really love that in Norway. Norwegians who are popular abroad.
Yeah.
Best thing there is. You've noticed.
Haven't
you noticed?
I haven't noticed.
Every Norwegian who does something abroad.
Well, actually, when I lived in England many years ago, I was a big footballer fan. And obviously, you've got some great footballers that have played for like Liverpool and Man United. So, some of them have done some. One particular guy did something very good in one Champions League final. So, it's good that, small country produces so many super sports people, really.
Yeah. I think I saw. Where was it? I saw en oversikt, hva er det på engelsk? An overview of medalists by country in World Championship and the Olympics. Yeah. And Norway is the number 1 on the list on medalje per innbygger.
Yeah. Medals per citizen, or
per citizen.
Yeah. Well,
so we're good sport nation.
Yeah, and that is also, I think, what I have been experiencing when I've covered Viktor is that Norwegians, we are used to winning.
Yeah.
And if we don't win, we're not satisfied. And that, I think, is a problem when it comes to golf for many people, because you don't win every week in golf. Golf is probably one of the most sports where it varies so much between who wins. A player almost never wins 2 times in a row, and it can, even with the best players in the world, it can go a year between winning and often more. So that is, I think, what Norwegians, at least the guys who were starting following golf now the last year maybe, and are new to golf, I think they don't realize that if Viktor doesn't get into the top 10 5 tournaments in a row, it doesn't mean that he sucks.
Yeah, I know.
And it just,
he's a rubbish putter.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see, because you see Viktor getting maybe top 30, and that is very good, obviously, for tournaments in a row, and people are starting, he's off form. When is he going to win again? He's way back there, and I'm like, that's not the case. He's doing fine. it's just a question of time before he gets that big result again. But yeah,
cool. So
it's interesting.
Bryson DeChambeau, he famously 6 months ago put on not 230 pounds, but he went from 180 to 230.
230, yeah.
Yeah, that's my plan too.
230.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you won't be on your own right now after you won the US Open by 6.
Yeah.
And on a course that he probably shouldn't have done what he did, and the way he played it got a lot of criticism. But what do you think Viktor's looking at Bryson? Bryson's put on 60 pounds and fat and muscle, a combination of both, and now he's hitting his driver, he's gone from 118 to 130 club head speed, and he's hitting it 350 yards plus. Is Viktor looking at that and trying to improve himself to get to that level, do you think?
I think I know Viktor has been talking to Bryson about his diet and about his transformation, and I think Viktor has actually been kind of
experimenting.
Yeah, experimenting, and been kind of what do you call it? Fascinated by Bryson's the transformation. And I know that Viktor has been doing a lot of running the last year, because he has never been a runner, and he actually started to run quite a bit, and he said he liked it. It helped him both mentally and physically. But I think he said to me that he's put that a little bit aside now, because he wants to bulk up himself. He wants to drive the ball further and have more power. So I know that he's been talking to Bryson, and I think he's been inspired, to maybe not do it as extreme as Bryson has done it, but put on a few pounds and just try to be a better player that way.
Yeah, I see through social media, you've been working with a long drive coach, Lucas Vold, who's quite a famous guy for helping people increase, club head speed through motion. Do you know anything about that, or?
I don't know anything specific about that, but I've seen the photos myself, and I know that that is probably a part of the plan to get a bit bigger, get a bit stronger, and hit the ball further.
I feel a bit unfair on Ventura, Christopher, here, because we've been talking about Viktor, and he's still part of your job.
Yep.
You're following them both. How is he looking compared to Viktor then? Viktor's looking at Bryson. Who is Christopher looking at? I
think Christopher is looking at Brooks and JT and Ricky Fowler, because he actually plays a lot with those guys in Floridian, which is his home course.
Because of the same coach. They've all got the same coach.
Yeah.
Claude Harmon.
And I think probably Brooks and JT are probably the guys he is looking to replicate, not replicate, but, follow in the footsteps of. And I actually think that, he had a really hard start in the tour. He made all these changes that didn't work. He had to go back to basics. He hired a new caddy, Andy Sanders, who was he won a major with Jimmy Walker.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, when he came out on the tour, and it was this big fuzz. And me and Marius Torp, he said to me, Marius said to me after a couple of weeks that I don't think this is going to work, because Christopher is a guy who needs to be in control of his own game. He doesn't like to be interfered that much with his own choices when he's out on the course. And you could just see that Andy Sanders, he is a guy who is used to take control. He's used to giving orders. He's not the guy who just is a buddy on the course that he wants to take control. And that, and Marius was right. After a couple of months, I think Christopher just realized that it's not a good fit, even though he's a guy that has won a lot and is really has a good standing in the scene. And the funny thing is that he replaced him with his brother.
Yeah,
his little brother.
His little brother.
And that has worked wonders.
Yeah.
And I have actually talked a lot to Federico, his brother.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just says that, I just ask him, what do you give him some advice on the course? I mean, what's your job? And he's like, my job is just to carry the bag, make some jokes, have a good time, and then just let Christopher do the rest, and maybe back him up if he hits a bad shot or something. But really simple. And I think Ventura is a guy who, he has admitted that as well, that is actually just what he needs.
It seems like the right recipe on was it the Safeway Open?
Yeah, the season
opener.
And
when who was the winner?
Stuart Sink.
Yeah, he had his son caddying.
Yeah.
And Ventura on third with his brother.
Yeah.
And Higgs with his He was in second, wasn't it?
Higgs was in second, yeah. He probably has
his friend or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
His bar
family
buddy.
golf.
Family golf.
Yeah.
So, what do you think then? Looking at Ventura, what does he have to do to get up there a bit more?
I think he just has to keep on doing what he's been doing since parting ways with Andy. I think he is on the right course to become the player he was at the Korn Ferry Tour. And I mean, with his work ethic and his professional attitude, I don't see why he can't be as good as Viktor in not that long in the future. He just strikes me as this guy who he's just so down to earth. He just works with he knows what he has to do, and he has had success before. He won 2 tournaments at the Korn Ferry Tour in like 2 weeks. So I mean, he knows that he has the ability, and I think he's well on his way to get up there. And he just showed that the safe way. That I mean, it's looking good. So I mean, having both Viktor and Christopher in the top spots come late in the season, I don't think it's impossible.
So do they practice together on practice rounds?
Yeah, when they play the same tournaments, they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, apart from that, they don't see each other that much or talk that much, I think.
Cool. Torjus, how famous are you here in Norway?
How famous am I?
It's very famous.
Compared to
Viktor is just a minion.
Well, someone said you have got the most popular TV program.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you ever get stopped in the street here?
Every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
Every day for a selfie or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. And how do you manage that?
It's cool for 2 weeks, not for 5 years.
Do you ever get stopped at the golf? Do people stop you at the golf? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you can raise my profile then on Friday. Yeah. Can we take a picture together in the lesson on Friday?
We can do.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. Can you put it on my... Can you link me in?
Yeah.
This is the guy.
If you get him to hit like Morikawa and Viktor,
Wow.
Then we have a deal.
In one day.
Yeah,
2 hours.
I'm not sure. It's hard to compare how known you are. I think there's a lot. Viktor has 158,000 followers. That's much more than me. So maybe him.
How many do you have?
Not many.
Not many.
No.
How many golf followers?
Not enough.
Not enough.
0, maybe. No, I throughout the world he's much more famous, of course.
Yeah.
But in Norway it's a pretty popular show.
It must be level. Viktor in Norway and you in Norway must be a level deal. Pretty cool.
He's on the VG front page of the newspaper every week. So
he is.
Yeah.
Espen, what's next for you? You can't travel. You're commentating on some football at the moment.
I'm not doing much football actually. I'm doing a lot of golf, but in the like in the US Open now. Obviously, we didn't have that one, so I set up a live center that we covered him each round, and then I wrote a story after each round, and I also talked to him, a bit before the tournament, during the tournament, and after, and just trying to make some exclusive content since we don't have the tournament ourselves. We have to try to keep keep the Hovland wave going, not cool it off. So that's the main thing right now. And I also have during the end of last season in the FedEx playoffs, I was responsible for the shows we had during the broadcasts. We had the studio at Miklagar.
Yeah.
And we did some things there, and I was responsible basically for that. So there's still stuff to do, but I mean it's nothing compared to being over there.
Yeah, you miss it.
I miss it.
Yeah,
I do. Especially when the winter is coming now, it will be. Not looking forward to that.
Do you think Viktor misses you?
I don't think he misses any media guys.
You don't think?
He jokes about it sometimes that I mean, it doesn't. It's. I mean, I say it sucks. It's gonna suck not to be there, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. I don't mind."
I won't miss you.
No, but that's who he is. He's not. He's not the most. Either gloaty guys or just like he's not someone who requires attention. He's not he's not there to. Be in the flash spotlight all the time, although I mean he wouldn't mind it if he was at the top every tournament, I guess. But he's just a guy who goes about his business. He wants to be the best player in the world, and for that, I think he just focuses on the things he feels he needs to do, and then everything else is just second priority, which it should be, obviously. But yeah.
So cool. And what do you think about all the other players? What do you notice about them, like DJ and Kupka? You're obviously getting close to them. What do you see in them compared to Viktor then?
I see a lot of the same thing. I see determination. It's obviously all players on tour are really determined and really, want to be the best. But there are some players that you can just feel the aura around them, that this is a guy who is a big dog, and you feel that with Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, and I feel at a certain point I feel Viktor is the same guy. He draws a lot of attention to himself. When he stands on the range, people are like, what is going on here? He's hitting every ball like dead straight. And that has been quite funny too. In the beginning, when I was over in the States, people were like, they were maybe standing to watch Rory McIlroy play at some hole, and at the tee box next to the hole, Viktor was standing and hitting his tee shot, and they were like, who the hell is this guy? Maybe we should follow him instead. So, I think I don't think people in Norway realize how big he is over there, and how his career has rocketed the last year.
It's hard to follow golf if you don't play yourself. I didn't watch golf until I started playing golf. I read about Hovland. Yeah, we have a Norwegian guy who won one thing. Okay, that's great. But doesn't win every week. Boring. Yep. But then I started watching, and you have to know the game to see how impressive it is, what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think like in the US Open, to appreciate like a 13th place, you have to know what's going on. Yeah.
Because to compare with the Langrenn, cross country skiing, if you're on 13th, you're rubbish.
You are.
You're nothing.
You're nothing.
But it's
you're fired from the team.
It should be exciting to see what happens if Ventura becomes a regular on the tour. I think maybe we need to build more golf courses in Norway if that happens. Yeah.
Do you think there's been a Viktor effect here?
Yeah, it seems like everybody I know start playing now.
And do you think that's through Viktor or through the
both
way
Viktor
what's happening in the world?
and Corona. I think
that mixture of Viktor, hitting his peak, and then Corona just coming, I think that was a perfect blend.
Yeah, and then was there's a second guy too.
Yeah.
I think they need to build more. You need to buy
you can buy
farm.
You can buy it. You can buy it and build your own course. It sounds like you might need it.
The next farm from here. Expand your nine-hole course to 18.
The next major is Augusta.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Viktor has a chance?
I think he has a great chance. I think the changes he has made to the swing is nearing its end. At least it seemed that way with his play in the US Open. He was top 5 from the tee in fairways hit, and also in approach, in his approach game. So I think the short game is what needs to be worked with, and he's honest with that. You could see I think the chip on 16 when he made that, or 17 maybe, when he made that double bogey. I mean, that has happened one time too many, I think. But he just knows what he has to work with. And
does he work extra on the putting and the chipping, or is he like me, skips the chipping and putting and only hit the long drives?
I think he
it's
works
boring.
with it. But I remember talking to his college coach, Alan Bratton, and he was quite honest, just saying that Viktor just needs to practice more his short game. He hasn't done that enough, and how he has the balance between hitting his long game and short game, maybe it has been too much imbalance there, because obviously his long game is way better. But I think it's much more important to have a good long game, because the short game isn't that. Everyone can be a decent short game player, but in order to be a great player off the tee and from tee to green, I think that's not something you do overnight. So I think if his short game, you see Colin Morikawa, his short game isn't actually really good. I mean, it's decent. He's an average player. And if Viktor can come up to that level, I think, he can be even better. So,
yeah.
small changes in the short game, and I think Viktor, and the putts from 5 to 12 feet is also a bit of weakness in his game, but he just knows that, and hopefully the 2 weeks now that he has off, he's going to work hard on that. So I think the Masters is going to be, he did really well last time, and I think it suits him really well. So
I think it's incredible, actually, DeChambeau. I think, his story is just, changed his whole... Has he changed his life in 6 months, do you think? Or,
I think he has.
Is he showing other players that, and anybody in the world, if they want to set their mind to something, to change anything, they can do it if they really want to?
Yeah, the thing about Bryson is he wasn't a bad player when he changed. He was one of the best in the world when he suddenly decided to, I'm just going to do my own thing, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it was kind of a gamble as well, because it's not given that you put on 50 pounds and you become a much better player. So
how many people do you think will be eating a lot over the winter and eating loads of junk food and healthy food and getting in the gyms? Is it safe? But will people be jumping on that, do you think?
Well, I think having length in your game from the tee is becoming more and more important, at least until they do something with the courses. So I can't see why people would do it, because to hit it straight, it's a good beginning. You can see Brendan Todd, he's one of the shortest hitters on the tour, and he still wins tournaments, but that's because he's a really good short game player. But hitting it in the fairway, I think, is a bit overrated, because you see Bryson in the US Open, I think he hit 23 fairways in 4 rounds.
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
30%.
Yeah,
and he still won by 6 shots.
But he has a very high swing
speed. Yeah,
swing speed.
Yeah,
and that helps in that
get out of the rough.
Yeah,
he's the only player who can some of the rough shots he hits was mind blowing. So
I think Rory's comments recently, yesterday, was a bit, I don't know, you have to read them to see, but he was sort of saying that's not how a US Open should be played. But I don't think Bryson's playing any golf course the way people think it should be played. So when he played at Colonial, he was working out where he could miss it in the rough to be able to get the best approach to the green, because the line that he wanted to take.
Did Rory say that?
Rory
that's not how you're supposed to play the US Open.
He wasn't sure that's how the US Open.
But he won by 6
shots.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was comments about the putter as well. There was a few comments about. He's just saying Bryson's stiff stance, and he's using an anchored putter, and and I think Bryson's taking advantage of the putting. He's taking advantage of what you can do, because you can anchor it below your elbow or below your belly button, below your elbow. Yeah, as long as it doesn't go over your elbow. So
what would happen if they make some adjustments to the rules? And you can't.
Well, he'd have to change. But, before he was trying to put sideways, and he was making that work till he told him he couldn't do it. Yeah, he put it that way. Do you remember? He put it that way, and I think he almost won a tournament that way. Yep. So I think Bryson has shown he can make anything work, whatever he wants to do. But obviously he's looked at... That's getting into a technical talk now. But I think Bryson has always had, the skills he needs to deliver the club. He's just worked out how to move faster and do it. So, but gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Espen, I'd like to say I think I'm very jealous of your job. I think it's the coolest job in golf outside of being a tour player, to follow, Norway's best golfer. Torjus, I'm sure you have also the best job in comedy. But we're super happy that you have such a passion in golf, and that you're down here practicing, and you're going to have a lesson on Friday. Pressure me.
I want
looking forward to that.
My goal is to be down
is that
at
be streamed, or?
Down at 17 in handicap by the end of the season. That's my goal.
There's only 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to play a lot. I have vacation now, Free every day.
Looking forward to it. Espen, thank you very much. Pleasure to meet you, and thanks for sharing all the stories, and good luck, and I hope you get back out there soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and Torjus, I'm really excited to be seeing you every day for the next 2 weeks. Thanks for joining. Thank you very much.